Hello class, we're back and actually I have a new setting today. We're out in the fresh air where you should all be most of the time anyway. And I'm here at my friend Rolando's house here, and I have my friend Paul here that is here to help me out today with my lesson. And the purpose of today's lesson is actually to build genuine relationships, and that means real relationships. And also how to defend yourself or how to stand up for yourself in a situation where somebody is threatening you. So what we're going to do first is start off with a shout out to all of the people who protect us, which are the military service. And Paul, you were in the
United States Army.
United States Army. Good. But I also want to give a shout out to, and because of you, we're able to sit here and make this video on Monday and have the day off. So thanks for protecting our freedom.
I don't have the day off.
But I also want to, yeah, you're helping me out, right? I also want to thank people who empower children. My friend Rolando here, his wife is filming right now. His kids are playing in the background. They've really helped support my cause, and they're taking the day to help me out as well. So it does take a team, and I'd appreciate your support as well. So we're going to start here with the purpose of my video, and I don't want to make it a 20-minute long video. Anybody that's watched it before knows I could talk for a long time. So this lesson is based on my first video, which is Believe in Yourself. That is finding your power, your authentic power. Please watch that video. Secondly, you're going to, if you want to understand this video better, you will watch my superhero video, which is plugging into positive networks. Once you know who you are and you find your real self, genuine self, you want to plug into a network that will accept you for you, and you will have win-win interactions. And we will talk about that as we go. Now, why am I sitting here why are we sitting here in our uniforms? Is because my positive network that I found was martial arts. And when I was a kid, I already talked in my past video that I wanted to be a superhero. Well, that didn't seem very realistic. No, the dog can come, that's perfect. But I couldn't be a superhero because superheroes aren't real. But then I saw the Karate Kid, 1984. We're about the same age, right?
Yeah.
And that showed me that there were two sides to martial arts. There was the good side of the martial arts, the Mr. Miyagi side, and there was the sweep the leg side, right? And I really supported that Mr. Miyagi positive martial arts. But I'm gonna have to be honest, gentlemen, I was afraid to get into it because I was afraid of not being able to live up to my superhero qualities. I was afraid of going into the academy or the dojo or whatever and being beat up. I was afraid of losing my sense of ego, and kids' ego means what you think you should be, and I stayed away from it for a really long time until 1993. You guys remember 1993?
Oh yeah.
Royce Gracie, UFC. And he went in there as a normal guy. He looked normal, he was small, he's actually smaller than me. And he went in there and he dominated giants. And he didn't do it with a bunch of flair, he didn't brag. He went in there with his team, which is important. And he made a huge difference on me because he showed that if you're respectful and you put the time in, that you can overcome any challenge that's in front of you. So I took up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm not here to teach you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So kids, take your mouthpieces out and put down the gloves because this is not my field. My field is to talk about empowerment, and I want to teach you how to be mentally strong. And actually, Jiu-Jitsu is about being mentally strong. And we're going to get into that in a minute. So please watch my videos before we get into the lesson that I'm about to do right now. And Rolando, you can step out of the way here, and I'm going to use Paul here. So when you find a network, there's really, if you're watching my videos, you want to find a positive network where people support you. A lot of people these days, they meet people or they become part of the network based on a surface level judgment of each other. Back in the old days, Paul, you remember how you met people? Back before the internet and 100 TV shows.
100 years ago.
You had to actually know them, right?
Right.
And they had to prove to you that you didn't want to play with them, right? But you gave them a chance, right?
Right.
Well, these days, ladies and gentlemen, it's not so much the case. Now we have the internet, we have a whole bunch of different ways to connect, and what we tend to do is base that on judgments and comparisons. So let me give you an example here. So Paul, obviously I see him, I see Paul, and I see someone that looks nothing like me. Not at all like me. And you're gonna see in a minute when he takes off his gi, is that he's got tattoos, I don't have tattoos. So we're not a lot alike at all. But we could judge each other, and it happens all the time. So we're gonna play along right now, Paul. You're gonna play along with me here, and I'm gonna say something. Let him see your tattoos. Let's see your tattoos here. Because I think this is a really important point, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he's gonna play. And look how big he is too, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay.
Sucking my gut in.
Oh yeah, that's all right. All right. Check these cool tattoos out. Now, let's talk about this. Teachable moment. I'm totally going off script, but that's okay. All right, Paul, let's take a seat here.
Sure.
So we got Paul here, and I just met him, I don't know, in some chat room somewhere, and we meet up, and I maybe I don't even meet up with him. Maybe I just see him on his avatar, right? His screenshot, and he's got these tattoos, and you know what I think? Those are cool. But see, I don't have any tattoos, so now I gotta find a way for me to be more important than him, because we're dealing in a game of comparison here, right? So, I don't know. I mean, I guess I have more baseball cards than you, man. So now you gotta think something about me that might be cool, and then you gotta find a way to make yourself better there, Paul.
I don't like baseball. I like football.
Okay. All right.
We play football. We don't really play baseball.
See, now what we're having here is a competition between two people that should be friends.
It's boring.
Exactly. See, now we're competing, right? Now here's the difference. Here's the difference with jiu-jitsu. And I want to say this because I'm going to take the gi off here in a minute. Is I'm not here to represent jiu-jitsu as the sport because I'm not qualified to do that. I'm a teacher who studied jiu-jitsu for over 10 years, and I'm an educator that works with children right, in the elementary school. But what I'm going to talk to you about can go all the way from middle school, high school, to adult, about finding a positive network and finding people who are going to rise with you instead of level with you, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have to pause it here, and we're going to take our gis off. Oh, let me give one last shout out. Henner Gracie, you've been a huge inspiration to me because I know you've dealt a lot with the mental side of jiu-jitsu. And kids, if you're really interested in finding someone who is much better at jiu-jitsu than me, go to Henner Gracie. He has the mental side and he has the physical side. But I would prefer the physical. You go to the academy and learn it from a professional because it's nothing to mess around with. Okay? Now, Paul just demonstrated how he's going to get better as a martial artist by helping me by helping his skills, because he's allowing me to play with him. It's a playful exchange. And he might be using techniques that he's never used before because he's helping me learn. He's not trying to destroy me or bash me down because then I couldn't be a good training partner. But now he has to return the favor for me. This is the win-win situation. So let's say, for example, headlocks, okay? I want to learn how to get out of a headlock because that's an important thing in jiu-jitsu, self-defense. So he gets me in a headlock. Now, he's not trying to rip my head off here, boys and girls. He can. He could take it home for the holidays if he wanted to. But he's going to go gentle, and he's going to help me out. Now, he's going to give me a little resistance. I mean, I'm not made of glass. But at the same time, he's going to coach me through it. So help me.
Okay.
Help me. Help me.
You want to block this hand.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
Tie it to my side.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay, I got it.
Now I can't hit you in the
All right.
head.
Yeah.
And you
What do I do
step
now?
Behind me.
Okay, I'm gonna step behind.
All right.
I'm gonna step behind. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna step behind. Yeah, and I'm gonna
There you
take.
go.
Oh, I got it. And now.
There you go. girl.
Now Paul has to trust me, doesn't he?
Right.
Because he's put himself in this situation. He would have never let me do this before. But we're helping each other grow.
Good job.
All right.
Good job,
Did I do
Chris.
okay?
Excellent.
Yeah, and there's always that support. It's not like, oh, well, you just beat me up, so I'm going to beat you up. Let's go, man. That's not what it's about. So finally now, we need to get to the part about the bullies. In order to get to bullies, you need to understand bullies. Talk about it a lot in class, but I'm going to give it to my bigger class here. I believe that all people are born loving and giving, and that something gets in the way at some point in their life that puts them at a dis-ease. And that means a discomfort with themselves. Usually that's fear, usually that's insecurity or anger. And those force the bully to create a character. Because if I'm scared, I don't want to walk around school pretending like I'm scared, or anywhere, whether I'm an adult or a child. So what I do is I build a character, which in a way we're doing when we do social media. We're basing it on what we look like, right? Now we have all these differences, right? Because I'm looking for them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to puff myself up because I want Paul to think I'm the biggest, baddest guy on the playground. Deep down inside, I'm not. What I want to do with Paul is I want to make Paul feel like I feel. I want to make him feel scared. I want to make him feel angry. Or I want to be able to get a reaction out of him that's going to make me feel like I'm powerful. Because inside, I don't feel powerful. Now, we train with people at the academy they look like nothing. I mean, they look like, a fourth grader could beat them up. And they tear us up, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Because we have the respect to know that anyone at any time could know something that could make them basically a human weapon. So BJJ teaches the art of fighting without fighting, and that's a Bruce Lee term. And I would like to show and model the example of that. And the first thing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to avoid the fight. And that's two things. One, it's the way you conduct yourself, and it's two, where you go in your network where you're likely to find a bully or avoid a bully. And prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So let's start with the first way to avoid it, is to be respectful and confident. If I walk around on the playground to Paul and I'm walking like this and Paul has the same issue, I'm gonna have myself a confrontation there. And I've created the problem, and if you watch my superhero videos, superheroes don't create problems. Okay, so we've already broken the first rule there. Second of all is avoiding situations where you're going to find bullies. If you're on the internet, you do not want to go to adult sites where there are chat rooms where you're going to meet strangers. That is a horrible idea if you are under the age of 18 years old. Now on the playground, if you're playing around in the bathroom where it's unsupervised and you might have some bullies in there, let's act like bullies right now. No, just for we're in there and we're just looking, and somebody walks in like Rolando, which is holding the camera, so he's not going to be able to do that, walks in and doesn't realize that we're looking for trouble, he's going to find trouble. Let's get him, right? So avoidance is the first thing. Find something to do on the playground that's active, a team sport. Paul and I, we're out playing basketball or something, having fun, we're having a couple laughs. There's somebody there's not a bully that's gonna come in and challenge both of us during a basketball game. It's most likely not gonna happen. We go playing in the bathroom or something like that, or go play in the bushes or something like that, not such a good idea, all right? So prevention's very important. And the last part of it is, if you listen to my advice about respecting people, respecting yourself, believing in yourself, 95% of your bully situations will be eliminated, and you'll have some good friends in the process, right? They'll be totally different than you. But we're having a moment here. But there is a 5% chance that you are going to run into a confrontation that you have to deal with. And jiu-jitsu is very good about that. And I'm dealing with verbal jiu-jitsu here, not physical jiu-jitsu. So the first thing is the response that all humans have: fight, flight, or flee. I'm going to do it a little bit differently here. We're going to start with the fight one. So Paul and I, Paul's the bully here. He's not really a bully. He's the nicest guy you'll ever know, but he looks like, well, what does it really matter what we look like anyways? That's the whole point of my whole thing. But anyways, Paul walks up to me and he's going to call me a name, okay? Now, I'm not doing anything wrong, and but at the same time, I'm insecure. Watch my Believe in Yourself video, you guys. I'm insecure and I don't feel that confident with myself, so watch what happens. Go ahead.
Hey, sissy.
Oh, you're sissy, huh? You're sissy, huh?
You're a sissy.
Yeah, you're a sissy. Okay, freeze. Now, not only did we both lose in that situation, because what happened is he got what he wanted, okay? We both lost. And bullies don't mind losing as long as somebody else loses, okay? Because what I did is I became the bully too. So we both became bullies in that process. Here's the second example. This is called the overreaction, okay? You definitely want to leave the scene when there's an altercation, but there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. Here's the way, in my opinion, not to do it, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And you're going to probably have to follow me here. All right, same thing.
Hey, loser.
Okay, now, I'm not saying that it's wrong to be scared, okay? Please understand that. Or also the fact that I ran away. That's a good thing. But what did I just give him? I just gave him a present. And that was, anytime he's feeling insecure, he could make me insecure because he knows he can do that to me. Here's my advice for dealing with bullies in a respectful, confident way that tries to build a relationship. Okay, Paul, go ahead.
Hey, loser.
Hey, man, I can see you're angry. I don't have any problems with you. I'm going to go now. Okay, now, what I just did, I'm going to do this again. I was protected. Paul, go ahead and just throw a punch at me, please. Okay, I'm protecting myself right here, aren't I? Now, I'm not getting into self-defense, you guys. I'm just giving you some tips here, okay? If I go like this, it's a lot different, isn't it? I don't have a problem with you. I don't have a problem with you. I need to go now. What I just did to him, I respected him. I said, hey, I think you're mad. I don't have a problem with you. Now, there's a chance that he might attack me. At least I did the right thing, and that's all you can do. So to respectfully tell somebody, I don't have a problem with you. I can see you're angry. I'm going to go. Then you go, and if you definitely get adults involved, always get adults involved. But make sure that that disconnection is with confidence and you're respecting. Okay? So you could cut it. I'm going to just do the last. Okay, now we're going to get into the relationship building, whether you're in the academy or you're in any other network. And there's two types of interactions that I've already discussed. One is the surface level, where we're going to kind of size each other up and we're going to judge each other, and it's going to be a game of leveling, okay? So I look at Paul here, and he's a much bigger person than me. So automatically, I might think if I'm judging and I see him as an opponent, because it's a win-lose relationship, somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. Well, I'm shorter than him and I'm smaller. So what I need to do is I have to find a reason for me to find something wrong with him. You know what? You're wearing sandals, man. Who wears sandals? I mean, seriously. And now what I've just done is I've just tried to level himself, like my black socks are any better, right? But anyways, I've just leveled myself with him because now he's wearing sandals and I look like, I don't know, I guess I have something on him. But you know what he's gonna do now? Go ahead, just consult me, I'm okay with that.
Why do you have to wear a shirt with a logo on it? With a saying.
There we go. So what we have right now is what we just did, stand next to me, Paul, is I said this. I said, what did I say about you? I forget. I said, oh, the sandals. So basically I tried to push him down. So he's shrinking, right? And then he said, well, why does somebody have to wear a logo on their shirt? Well, I'm shrinking too. Now he's going to give me another insult. Go ahead, I can take it.
You're wearing socks on the grass.
Oh. Well, you know what? I mean, who has tattoos like that anyways? Although they're kind of cool, right? All right, so do you see what happened? What we did is we just had a typical 2018 social media who's better competition. We don't need any more of those. What we need to do is have relationships where it's a win-win situation, and that will happen in an academy. So now I walk into a martial arts academy and I have my uniform on because that's a symbol of respect, and I see Paul, and the last thing I want to do is insult him because one, I want to learn the art, and second of all, we're going to be playing on the same team in a game that is very, very, very risky in terms of what we're doing. I have to trust him. I have to believe that he's not going to hurt me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up knowing I'm going to have to wrestle with him, and I'm going to try to find a way for him to get to know me and not look at the differences like the tattoos or that he's bigger than me or whatever. What do we have in common? So I walk up to him and say, hey man, how long you been training?
A couple years now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and how'd you get into the sport?
A friend of mine, he was training here, and then he said, why don't you come down?
Hey,
and
me
introduce
too.
Me to guy. Yeah.
See, now I just found a relationship with Paul. Now, it doesn't mean we're best friends, but at least we respect each other, and I'm looking past the differences to find a common ground. And that's the difference between a surface level and a real human relationship. I'm trying to find out what we have in common so we can train together. And this is why it's important. When we're training, I'll take my glasses off and squint like a mole. We're going to be training, and Paul's a much better martial artist. Here's the proof. He's a purple belt, and if you don't know how hard it is to get one of these, look it up.
Not necessarily.
Anyway, so we're training, and let's say that I'm training with Paul, and we're doing this and that, and he's going to get me in a hip throw position, right? Now, go ahead and get me up on your hip. Go ahead. Okay, now I need to trust him. Now I need to trust him, because he could throw me on my head, right? But Paul's a really nice guy. He's going to let me down real soft. Oh, okay, thank you. Now, do you see the mutual respect there? I had to trust that I can let him basically take control of my health there. And that is true respect. Now, on that, there's a deal with that. With Paul, when we're fighting, I can't do all my spazzy things that I do because I don't know the art as well. So when we're training, I'm not going to pull his ear. I'm not going to give him noogies. I'm not going to do anything like that, because that is breaking the agreement that we have to learn the art together. And that is all the difference in the world. So that's the difference with the relationships formed in an academy based on human connection. And we're not talking about just BJJ or jiu-jitsu. We're talking about all team sports, basketball, anything like that, where your teammate, not your opponent, is going to get better when you get better. Because if Paul just beats me up, go ahead, Paul, just throw me around. I'm not learning anything. I'm getting beat up, and he's not learning anything either. Right? Okay, stop. The good thing about jiu-jitsu is you can tap. That means I've had enough of this monster. Okay, that's respect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we're going to wrap this video up. Anytime that I say the video is going to be short, just forget that I said that, because you know it's not. I can talk. But I'm really happy here to be with my two friends on a beautiful day and doing something positive for all. And I do want to talk about martial arts a little bit, because martial arts has gotten a bad rap recently from UFC, and about people going at it and trying to hurt each other. Well, that's a competition, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a competitive sport. But the academy is where you learn the things that I talked about in the video. You learn to respect people, like genuinely. You get to learn them, because if you look at these great guys right here, we really are all really different. And that's what makes us so interesting. We get together. Rolando's like really good with mechanical things, so if I need something mechanically done, he's my guy. Paul works at the hospital, and like if I break my arm or do something foolish, he can take an x-ray. See, those are the things I can't do. So as a team, we all help each other out, but we met through jiu-jitsu, and we learned to respect ourselves, and we learned how to interact in a really interesting way. And because of that, our lives are richer. And I hope that we can all do that. I know that the internet is something that is here to stay, and social media and all that, but really try to genuinely connect. It doesn't matter if you're playing basketball or any type of club or anything where you're really interacting with humans, because there's a huge difference in energy. I mean, I could text Rolando, I can text Paul, but I don't have the same feeling as when I'm sitting right next to them and we're able to share this experience together. So really the purpose is developing emotional maturity based on understanding people and treating people with respect. And I believe that our world needs more. And that's not just at a jiu-jitsu academy or a school. That goes as high as you can take it for everyone, especially people in charge, because we all need a little bit more positivity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.